Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today we are unpacking the source material for an absolutely incredible and incredibly urgent opportunity if you're looking to buy a home in Florida. We're talking about the 2026 Florida Hometown Heroes Housing Program. If you're a workforce professional serving your local community, well, the financial benefits we're about to cover are honestly staggering. But as you'll see, the clock is ticking really loudly on the available funds. So let's just dive right in. Okay, so let's start with the big question right out of the gate. Do you want up to $35,000 to help buy a Florida home? Look, I know it sounds like a gimmick, but this is absolutely real down payment and closing cost assistance directly from the Florida Housing Finance Corporation. We are talking about a massive injection of cash that can literally bridge the gap between renting and finally owning your own place. Because let's be real, for a lot of buyers, the hardest part isn't the monthly mortgage payment, right? It's coming up with that huge lump sum of cash required at the closing table. Well, this program hits the nail on the head and solves that exact problem. Okay, let's dive into this because this is definitely not your standard bank loan. The assistance we're talking about comes with a 0% interest rate and 0 monthly payments. That is absolutely crucial to understand. You are not just adding another monthly bill to your budget. The money is literally there to make the purchase possible, not to squeeze your cash flow every single month. So, how does the math actually work for you? It's super straightforward. The program basically provides a flat 5% of your total mortgage loan amount. The absolute minimum you can get is $10,000, and it caps out at a maximum of $35,000. So just as a quick example, say you're taking out a $300,000 mortgage. 5% of that is $15,000. Bam. That $15,000 gets applied directly to your down payment, and if there's anything left over, it goes straight toward paying those pesky closing costs. Easy, right? Now, if you want to get into the real estate jargon, this is technically structured as a deferred second mortgage. But let's translate that into plain English so we know exactly what it means for your wallet. It basically means this loan just sits quietly in the background, no monthly payments whatsoever. The balance only comes due in full if you sell the property, refinance your first mortgage, transfer the deed, move out so it's no longer your primary residence, or, hit the 30-year maturity mark. But as long as you're living there as your main home, it costs you absolutely nothing month to month. All right, so you're probably wondering, who exactly gets to take advantage of this? I mean, it sounds almost too good to be true, so there've got to be some rules, right? And yeah, there are. And they are highly specific. The program is targeted at essential community workers and first-time homebuyers. But hold on, because the way they define those things might actually surprise you. Now, what's really interesting here is how the program actually defines a first-time homebuyer. They go by the IRS definition. And all that means is you cannot have owned and occupied a primary residence within the past 3 years. So here's a pretty massive loophole. You could, theoretically, own a rental property or an investment home right now, but as long as you haven't lived in it yourself as your primary home in the last 3 years, you still qualify as a first-time homebuyer for this program. Crazy, right? You just can't own more than 2 properties total at the time you close. Moving right along, let's talk about the employment rule. You do have to be employed full-time, which means 35 to 40 hours a week, and your employer has to have a physical brick-and-mortar location right there in Florida. I want to be super clear here based on the source guidelines. If you are a fully virtual remote worker, unfortunately, you don't qualify. But hey, if you're a hybrid worker, you might still be in luck, provided you physically commute into that Florida office at least 3 days a week. Okay, so let's see how this breaks down into actual career fields. You have to work full-time in one of these essential categories. We're talking healthcare and medical, specifically direct patient care, so nurses, therapists, medical assistants. Then in education, we've got K-12 school staff, which covers everyone from classroom teachers to guidance counselors and maintenance crews. Next, the folks keeping our communities safe. First responders like firefighters and paramedics, plus public safety and law enforcement, which includes 911 dispatchers and correctional officers. And wrapping it up, we have court workers, licensed childcare facility staff, and of course, our active military and veterans. Basically, if you serve the Florida community in one of these buckets, this money is for you. But guys, there is a monumental exception to that list, and it's an awesome carve-out for our veterans. If you are a veteran who is discharged under conditions other than dishonorable, you actually do not have to work in one of those specific occupation buckets we just talked about. Nope. You are eligible as long as you work full-time for any Florida-based employer. You could be working full-time in retail at Walmart or over in the private tech sector, and as long as it's a Florida brick-and-mortar company, you are fully eligible for the whole shebang. Naturally, you do still have to qualify for the actual underlying mortgage itself, whether that happens to be an FHA, VA, USDA, or conventional loan. But honestly, the basic financial hurdles for hometown heroes are super reasonable. You need a minimum FICO credit score of 640 and a maximum debt to income or DTI ratio of 50.49%. Your loan officer will do all the math on this, comparing your income to your monthly debts, but compared to a lot of assistance programs out there, these are highly, highly accessible numbers. All right, now we need to talk about the most critical takeaway from all this source material. The 2026 Hometown Heroes program officially launched on July 13th, 2026. As I'm explaining this to you right now, that was just 16 days ago. The clock isn't just ticking here, it's literally blaring like an alarm. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why you need to move so fast. Just look at the historical data. In 2023, the state allocated $100 million for this program, and those funds were completely wiped out in just 53 days. In 2024, they did another $100 million, and it vanished even faster, gone in exactly 51 days. And for this 2026 rollout, there is only $50 million available. That is literally half the amount that ran out in under 2 months in previous years. I mean, if $100 million drained in 51 days, simple math tells us this year's $50 million could easily be fully committed in just 3 to 4 weeks. Because we're already midway through July, 16 days into the program, this window is closing insanely fast. Buyers absolutely cannot afford to wait another day to get their pre-approval done and their interest rate locked. Why? Because that is the only way your loan officer can actually reserve your down payment assistance funds in the system. Once the money is gone, it's gone for good. So, what's the game plan here? It's actually a very simple 3-step process. Step 1, double-check your eligibility against everything we just went over. Step 2, contact an approved realtor who knows this program inside and out. And Step 3, have them connect you with a Florida Housing-approved loan officer. That last part is super important because only specific approved lenders are even legally allowed to offer this Hometown Heroes product. Now, regarding Step 2, if you are looking to buy a home anywhere in Northeast Florida, we're talking St. Augustine, Jacksonville, Palatka, Green Cove Springs, the source material specifically highlights working with Neal Brown. He's a realtor with iHeart Realty, Inc., and actually a Florida Army National Guard veteran himself. So he really understands the unique intricacies of both VA loans and down payment assistance programs. He is a local expert who can hook you up immediately with the right approved lenders to make sure you do not miss this tiny window. So I just want to leave you with this final, really important thought. That $50 million pool is draining every single day. Every hour, another eligible buyer is out there securing their funds. The blueprint is right here in front of you. So what does this all mean for you? Are you ready to take action and claim your $35,000 before someone else does? Don't let an opportunity like this pass you by. Reach out to a professional today, get the ball rolling, and grab your piece of the Florida dream.